division of the DTI that develops and administers incentives that are aligned with our national policy priorities, specifically our Industrial Policy Action Plan priorities, where we look at offering incentives in the form of grants to enterprises that qualify for these incentives. And the incentives that we offer are essentially priorities, which are, for example, promoting manufacturing, promoting competitiveness, broadening participation, looking at promoting investment in the services sector, as well as infrastructure support for specific investments that will take place. I'll start with the manufacturing investment cluster, and the incentives that we offer in this cluster, as I said earlier, are to promote manufacturing investment in the manufacturing sector along with our industrial policy objectives, so that we have manufacturing enterprises that can grow and enhance employment creation, and also look at the sustainability, the long-term sustainability of these enterprises. And the incentives that we offer are the manufacturing investment program. That's the grant that's offered to qualifying enterprises. The Agriculture Development Enhancement Program that specifically focuses on the agriculture sector. It's a new incentive that was launched this year. And again, it's a grant that's offered based on qualifying investment, as well as the Automotive Investment Scheme that targets the automotive sector. And we're looking at automotives that are specifically producing 50,000 units over a 3-year period, and they should be part of the original equipment manufacturer supplier chain. We also target component manufacturers that have a contract with original equipment manufacturers in terms of the specific incentive as well. And again, the grant is applicable to those component manufacturers. The last sub-program is the People Carrier Automotive Investment Scheme, which is a new incentive that was launched as well. And this is to, again, it's self-explanatory. It's for people carrier motor vehicles, such as the small minibuses that have been operating in South Africa. So we look at the manufacture and assembly of people carrier vehicles, as well as component manufacturers that will be supplying to people carrier vehicles. So those are the incentives that fall into the manufacturing investment program. The manufacturing investment cluster, sorry. And then coming to the competitiveness investment cluster, the incentives within this cluster have a common goal of creating an enabling environment that promotes industrial competitiveness, or looking at enhancing the export of South African goods and services. And in terms of these incentives, we have the Export Marketing Investment Assistance Scheme, and this looks at supporting potential exporters to penetrate export markets, or existing exporters that want to participate in exhibitions or trade fairs in a market that they want to increase their exports to. And we offer a cost-sharing grant where we support their participation in these exhibitions, we support their airfares, and we also support part of their daily expenses in that particular market. In terms of the Manufacturing Competitiveness Enhancement Program, which is a scheme that was launched last year, we look at promoting the competitiveness and the sustainability of existing manufacturing enterprises that are registered in South Africa. And again, under this scheme, we offer a capital equipment grant that looks at promoting the use of new machinery or equipment that would be necessary for them to become more competitive. In terms of the MSEC, we also look at green technology equipment that would help them to become more cleaner in terms of their production processes. We also look at a component of efficiency that would allow them to introduce, for example, ISO standards into the current manufacturing processes so that they again become more competitive. There is also a feasibility study aspect where we fund feasibility studies that have a pre-feasibility study that has been completed in terms of a potential expansion that an existing manufacturer wants to undertake. We also offer opportunities for enterprises in the manufacturing sector to come together to form a cluster that will help them to basically take part or utilize a kind of cluster process. The last competitiveness incentive with regards to this cluster would be the Capital Projects Feasibility Program. And that program specifically focuses on the export of capital goods and services, South African capital goods and services that would be utilized in the African market or outside Africa. And what we then fund is the feasibility study with regards to the export of capital goods and services for a particular project that would take place in the sector in Africa or outside of Africa. Coming to the services investment cluster, we have two incentives within this cluster. The first one is the business process outsourcing investments, and then the second one is the film and TV production incentive. Under the business processes services investment incentive, what we do is fund the actual creation of jobs that have been offshored to South Africa. So we look at what jobs you have created once the investment has taken place, and we give you a grant relating to the actual creation of those jobs. In terms of the film and TV incentive, we fund in the form of a grant the qualifying South African expenditure. And that means that in terms of what you have spent in South Africa, we look at what you have spent in South Africa, and it's both for local and foreign TV productions. And for local, it's 2.5 million that you must have spent in South Africa to qualify for that grant. And in terms of foreign film productions, foreign film and TV productions, it's at least 20 million rand. And as stipulated, we look at a grant that actually funds your expenditure. And that is to promote film and TV production within South Africa. In terms of the broadening participation incentive cluster, we are then in that sector looking at promoting the participation of historically disadvantaged individuals or enterprises into the mainstream of the economy. So we focus on black-owned businesses or cooperatives that are in the peri-urban or rural urban areas. And in terms of the Black Business Supplier Development Program, we look at a grant of up to R1 million that would either be for equipment, machinery, or business development. And by black-owned, we mean 51% black-owned, and your management team must be comprising at least of 50% black individuals. With regards to the corporate incentive scheme, this is the only scheme where we offer a grant that is 100%, and it's 100% cash grant that we offer to existing registered cooperatives, and a cooperative must have 5 members at least. And in terms of what we offer to cooperatives, it's across the board. It's 350,000 maximum in terms of the grant, and that's within any sector that the cooperative is operating in. And again, we offer either the grant for equipment, machinery, or business development services. The last cluster is the infrastructure investment cluster. And the incentive that we focus on in terms of this cluster is the critical infrastructure program. And that is to leverage infrastructure that is necessary to support an investment that would take place in a locality where that infrastructure does not exist. So normally a private investor would partner with the municipality in that area and approach the DTI with regards to this incentive. It's up to 30 million rand. And they would, based on a business case, then approach the DTI to determine whether they can then utilize the CIP to establish infrastructure for that investment and future investment to go ahead in that locality. So that summarizes essentially the incentives offered by the Department of Trade and Industry. And I'd just like to say that in terms of the guidelines, the criteria, and also all the forms that is available from our website, www.dti.gov.za, and you go onto financial assistance, and that's where you find all the necessary information.